Thank you for joining us on Coffee Break, brought to you by the Middle Alabama Area Agency on Aging, or M4A. M4A is a part of a network of 13 area agencies on aging that cover all 67 counties across the state. We are located in Alabaster, and we cover Blount, Chilton, Shelby, St. Clair, and Walker counties. We would love to find out how we can help your family today. For previous episodes of Coffee Break, feel free to check out our YouTube channel. All right, we're going to go ahead and kick things off. It's right around 104, 105 here in Birmingham area. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off. This is session 14 of Coffee Break. If this is your first time with Coffee Break, it is a brief respite for caregivers brought to you by the Middle Alabama Area Agency on Aging, also known as M4A, and is sponsored by two of our in-house programs, the PANDA Project and our Alabama Cares Caregiver Support Program, which we will go over a little more in depth towards the end of this presentation. We are doing things a little differently today. Typically, we have panelists join us to do a presentation. However, we are joined today by Ms. Judi Pritchard, the president and founder of the Care and Thrive Foundation, who has actually created a video for us to watch, and she is available towards the end of the presentation to answer any questions that you may have for her or for her organization. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get things started and make sure that we can get this video planned for you. So we hope you enjoy this.
Hi there, I'm Judi Pritchard from Care and Thrive Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I want to give a special thank you to Jeremy and Jennifer for having me as part of their Coffee Talk sessions. Today we're going to talk all about reminiscence therapy and keeping passions alive while you're living with dementia. Whether you're a care partner or you're someone living with dementia, it is so critically important to stay connected to those things that make you who you are. So this is one of my favorite quotes when we're talking about reminiscence therapy. Doing to most people means being alive. This is by an occupational therapist that lives in Canada, and she is passionate about dementia. Her name is J.M. Zogala, and she has done several books and lots of presentations all around bringing passions to your loved ones, bringing passions back into your life. And it all has to do with the essence of living well with dementia. So first, let's start at the beginning. When you have dementia, what happens with your brain? So let's talk about this a little bit. You've probably already aware of this, but dementia starts actually impacting your brain. So if this is our brain, dementia starts impacting it from the outside and then works its way inside as the disease progresses. The outermost areas of your brain are where your recent events, new names, appointments, things like that are stored. Well, because of the damage that dementia is causing to your brain, those new inputs of messaging don't have a chance to be encoded into your memory, so they're harder to remember. So then as dementia progresses, it gradually works its way inside to the inner brain. That's where your long-term memories are stored. Those long-term memories, as you're progressing through dementia, are the ones you can readily access. Those are the ones that you can like to tell your favorite stories from, of long ago, of your favorite people from your past, or your job that you had. Those are the inner memories that you have. So you hold on and you remember those feelings and those memories. Those more recent things, the more recent changes in your brain are causing you to forget names, forget maybe how to do simple things. They're impacting the way you interact with the world as you've always known it. So as a result, the dementia starts progressing, and another side effect of it is it impacts your ability to initiate tasks. So what may come across to care partners or your family members is that you're just losing interest in your world around you. You're just losing the excitement or the passion you had about doing your favorite activities. When in actuality, it's the changes that are happening in your brain that are causing you to withdraw. So that's the outside effect, is that it's causing you to withdraw and you're losing your ability to start those tasks. It even makes those tasks harder to complete at times as the disease progresses. So what is seen on the outside is you become more isolated. Depression sets in, you may even be anxious. Loneliness sets in, and you start all, because of all these things, you're not participating in your life as much, and you start to have even more cognitive decline because you're not having all those stimulation coming in from the things that you like to do. This not only impacts you, that you're living with dementia, but also impacts those around you, your family members, your social circles, those that you love and care about, and those that you spent all your time with start to also feel the impacts of dementia because you're getting withdrawn and they lose their ability to connect with you. At least that's what they think. So let's talk about human effects versus dementia things. So human thing versus dementia thing. What do I mean by that? You and I, every day, whether we have dementia or not, we want to have a purpose in life. We want to get up today and know these are the things I'm going to do today. Whether they're have-to-dos, a job you're doing, or a responsibility you have to take care of, these are things that give you purpose in life. They give you a purpose and a reason to get out of bed in the morning. It also helps establish what your role is in your world. Are you a care partner? Are you taking care of grandchildren? Are you taking care of maybe a little league baseball team? Or what are the things that define you as a person right now? And what are the responsibilities that you have? Are you still running your household? Are you still working? Are you having meaningful activities day in and day out that you look forward to, that you have scheduled, and that you can anticipate coming? All of these things you seek out every day. Even if they're stressful, you still seek them out because it gives you purpose in your day. It gives you a meaning, it gives you a sense of who you are. Those are all human things. That doesn't change because you have dementia. All of those needs, all of those desires and feelings, they're all still present even if you have dementia. Now, the dementia thing of this conversation is more around your ability to start doing those things that you want to do. Your ability to do those things later on in the disease progression, your ability to remember those things that you have to do, and your inability to see a task from start to finish, which all cause mounting frustration, all cause anxiety. Those are the dementia things that impact you as a person living with dementia. But all of those human traits that we talked about, all of those things that everybody has the same kind of inner desires for, they're all still present, no matter what stage of dementia you're in. That's where reminiscence therapy is so important and comes into play. So essentially, reminiscence therapy, very simply, are there activities that reconnect you or your loved one living with dementia with those passions that they've had. Those passions that defined who they are, what their role was in their environment, and what their connections were and are with the people of their social circles or the people of their families. They're activities specifically that you create that are designed to bring them back to those feelings of those passions. It's evidence-based. Research has proven the benefits of reminiscence therapy. It's non-pharmacological, so there's no medications involved. Doesn't mean that there aren't medications that could still be beneficial to you living with dementia. But this is an approach that you can use where you don't have to have medicines attached to it, because all the benefits that come after it are all mood altering and bring all positive effects without the need of medications. And the nice thing about reminiscence therapy is it can be adapted to any stage, no matter where you are in the journey of dementia. So going through whether you're early stage or you're younger onset, which is a growing population, those people under the age of 64 that are being diagnosed with dementia. Even for people in that age group, it's so critically important to stay connected with your passions. So whether you're in that group or you're going all the way through the later stages of dementia, this approach with reminiscence therapy is going to be key to helping you stay connected to your passions and to those that love you. So all along with this reminiscence therapy, you're not defined by the dementia diagnosis. You're not defined as dementia. You are still defined as you, Whether you're a baseball player, or whether you were a cheerleader, or whether you were a baker, or a mom, or a postman, whatever you were that defined you more in your inner brain, longer term self, those are the things that you still are. You're not defined by dementia. You aren't all of a sudden a different person. You are still you. And reminiscence therapy is a way to get you reconnected back to who you are. So let's talk about the impacts. The proven, evidence-proven, research-based impacts of the person living with dementia going through activities of reminiscence therapy. You often see increased communication because you're reconnecting them again with things they have a lot to talk about. You're building and reestablishing those family connections. You're getting from it yourself and for your loved one a sense of purpose, a sense of meaning, because it's not again defined around the medical process of dementia. It's defined around you and getting back to who you are. You're also getting a lot of cognitive stimulation from it. So it's actually firing those areas in the brain that are maybe rebuilding or building different connections in the brain. And so you're getting more cognitive stimulation, which does nothing but bring benefits to you. You're increasing your socialization, which is all of these things are great for your mental health. Helps relieve anxiety, helps relieve depression, makes you overall happier. And that's what we want. But then there's also physical side effects. The more active you are in approaches that are meaningful to you, that bring purpose to you, help with things like sleep. You sleep better. You wake up refreshed. Helps with your eating and nutrition because you're more active, you're burning off more calories, you're going to eat more, and it helps overall, again, with the socialization. Now, here's the cool thing. Reminiscence therapy is not just good for you if you're living with dementia. It's also good for those around you that are helping you live with dementia. So from a care partner standpoint, it decreases stress. It decreases physical strain because the more you stay active, the more you're able to do things that doesn't need as much help. They have increased interactions with you, so they're establishing that meaningful approach of being connected to you and having that connection. There's improved relationships, and it builds in an understanding of who you are as well as who you were, and a respect and a connectedness for all different types of family members, as well as your care partners. So where do you start? Again, remember, this is a free-flowing, easy process, so it's not rigid. It's going to be something that is based particularly on you living with dementia, you the person living with dementia, or if you're a care partner, your loved one that's living with dementia. You got to start at the beginning. What's their story? Who were they 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago? Where did they grow up? What did they like to do? What were their passions? What were their jobs? What kind of things did they do on a regular basis when they desired something to bring them joy? What kind of music did they listen to? What sports did they follow? Who are the important people at their life of every stage? That's what you need to figure out to know where to start with reminiscence therapy, because those are the things that you're going to build activities around. Those are the things you're going to pull out and know exactly what they're all about. No easier way to say it. So as you're helping them remember things from their past, keep in mind there's going to be good memories and there's going to be not so good memories. So by you knowing their story and knowing who they are, you want to know and identify for yourself those things, if they ever had trauma in their life, if they had something that was particularly distressing, if they maybe had a career or were in the military, and those don't bring back fond memories for them. Anything that's traumatic to them or was very traumatic to them, you want to steer clear of building any activities around, because you don't want to have them remember those sad things. You want to build it all around positive experiences. Even if today they're at the stage of dementia where they can't really tell you with words what they're feeling, you know them well enough and you observe them to know what they're about and what their story is, so you can help guide them into happier, pleasant experiences. You don't want to have them relive things that aren't happy, that we wouldn't want to relive. And also you can recognize if something's happening in the world that may trigger some unhappy thoughts, such as the 4th of July. It's probably one of the easiest ones I can think of. The sound of fireworks for someone that had a traumatic experience in the military could really set them on a spiral, a downward spiral that you just don't want to have. So avoid fireworks. That's how their history can help you make sure that they're thriving, no matter where they are in their dementia journey. So let's give it a try. All right, so who doesn't know that that's related to football? Whether you're an Alabama fan that happened to be University of Alabama, Roll Tide, or not, you can probably recognize if ever in your past you either played football, you were in the band, you were a cheerleader, you just loved to go to football games. That probably will bring in happy memories for you. Now, if you're a die-hard fan and you don't happen to be an Alabama fan, and I play you Alabama information or the soundtrack of the Alabama fight song, you may not want to hear that. That really may set you off to where that's not your team. You don't care anything about it. But if you are a Bama fan, I know that, I'm going to play you the fight song. And that probably will bring you back happy feelings and happy memories. The same effect that you just had listening to this, if you have a past connection with football or a current one, this was probably a pleasant experience for you. And you could relate to things, whether you remembered specific events or you just remembered how much you love the sport of football. Let's try another one. All right, so whether you knew that was the Beatles or you just knew this was music from the 60s, and if this was your time era where you knew the music from the 60s, then you probably liked this, or at least it was familiar to you. Music has a great ability to connect you with the past. So again, whether you know that was the Beatles or not, you probably got an idea of whether this was something that you liked and are familiar with, or something that you're like, not really my thing. Either way, knowing your story is critically important. Let's try one more. Okay, so if you're a ballerina or you're into dance, you would recognize that was the Nutcracker. Even if you weren't into dance, but maybe you're passionate about Christmas, maybe you could have Christmas 12 months out of the year, then this music probably put you right back into thinking about your favorite decorations, your favorite holiday, your favorite Christmas cookies, or baking with your mom or baking with your children. So the sound and the being around something that you're passionate about immediately sends you back to those feelings. That's what's important around reminiscence therapy. That's essentially what you're doing. You're bringing them right back to where they were, and they're helping them understand and reconnect with those feelings of things that they love. So let's go through some basics of reminiscence therapy. So what you want to do is you want to base it on the person, like we've been talking about. Know your loved one, know yourself. For you, if you're living with young onset or early onset dementia, write down your story. It will do nothing but help those that will be helping you through your dementia journey. And also, it's a great way for generations to come to know all about you. So write down your information, write down the things that you like, write down the things that you don't like, and share that information with those around you. If you're caring for someone with dementia, do the same thing. Dig into their past. Find out what's good. Find out what the things that aren't so good, and have that written down so others in your care circle can help you. Remember, reminiscence therapy is not rigid. It's not something you have to follow from A to Z or from step 1 to 15. It's free flowing. You very much base it on what they love and what they want to do at the time. So you want to keep it fluid based on their responses to it. Ask open-ended questions. Don't quiz. Don't ask, what did you do on the Christmas in 1972? By asking direct, pointed questions, it automatically creates a situation where anxiety may be present, because they know you're asking a question No matter what stage of dementia they're in, even in the early stages, they know they're being asked of something, and it's almost like a challenge, that you're challenging them to come up with a specific answer. So ask more open-ended questions. So we're listening to Christmas music and it's July, but tell me about your favorite holiday memory. Tell me what cookie you like best, and let's make some Christmas cookies today. Doesn't matter that it's July, who cares? Let's make our favorite cookies. Listen to what the person living with dementia tells you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Listen to the stories they repeat to you, and then build off of that to add to their stories, and add in your interest in it. The more you're interested in the stories they tell, the more they'll expand and have greater communication with you and greater conversations. Here's a biggie. Focus on their abilities. So as dementia progresses, there may not be things that they can do well enough. And all too many times when people hear the word dementia, all they think about is dementia disabilities. I want to wipe that out. There are going to be disabilities that we want to acknowledge, understand, and appreciate, but then brainstorm and be creative to figure out ways to adapt their world or adapt whatever they're doing to keep them doing something, keep them doing things they're excited about. So know their disabilities, but focus on their abilities. Don't forget to have fun. Humor, laughing, joy, those are all things that we all need. That's a human thing that we all need. Don't forget that. Have fun with it and use humor. Laugh. Don't be afraid to laugh with each other, not at each other. Have fun and use humor. And validate. If they have concerns, validate those concerns and hear them. If later on down the disease process and later on in the journey of dementia, they start to believe that they're back living in 1982, go with it. What's it going to hurt? As long as it's nothing that's going to put them at risk, go with it. So bottom line is, what you're trying to do is create experiences. Create experiences either where if you're living with dementia, especially in the early or young stages, you can and have the ability to do the experience. Stay involved in the task. Stay excited, stay connected with whatever passion you had and the people involved in that passion. Later on in the journey, create the experiences. No matter what stage they're in, how much they can do or how little they want to do, you want to create experience. Use as many senses as possible in that experience. So for instance, all these pictures around baseball, have a hot dog. If they're still swallowing well, have a hot dog. Play, take me out to the ball game. Give them a baseball glove. Maybe if they just want to watch a baseball game together, keep score, keep the stats. Use baseball cards to talk about their favorite players. Whatever it is, if their passion is baseball, be creative, and sky's the limit on everything that you can pull in to actually use and bring them back to that experience. Don't be afraid to let them use the tools of the trade. One thing that sometimes we as care partners do is we get in the notion of believing that if we do it for them, it's not going to stress them. If we do it for them, maybe they won't do it right if they try and do it on their own. So we're going to do it for them. I'm going to challenge you not to think that way. Have a new view of what being successful is. Being successful may not be doing things as you've always done, but being successful is having joy brought out of an activity, no matter what the end product looks like. And as much as possible, use the tools of the trade. Not only is it important to have the simulated activity or the real activity be real, but it also provides inputs in from a sensory perspective around feeling and touching and using the tools that builds in that muscle memory and helps them get reconnected with the trades that they did, with their passions that they did. So use the real tools as much as you possibly can and as much as safe, but don't be afraid to let them really do things. Don't be the one that sits back and when they ask if they can help, you say no. Think about, because you want to take care of them, think about any situation where they can help in any way. It brings a sense of fulfillment. It makes them feel like they have a purpose and a responsibility and that they're needed. Who doesn't want to feel needed? So let them use the tools of the trade. Let them get involved. Cue the music. Music has been researched tremendously, and the benefits of having music that is relatable, played, automatically shows activities in the brain that reconnects them with a time and a place. I can't imagine any of us that can't hear a certain song that was important to you, and it automatically transports you back, whether it was maybe the first school dance you went to, or maybe the song you danced to at your wedding, or maybe you went to Woodstock and it was the first big concert that you went to. Anything around music that you can add into the experiences you're creating or what you're trying to help them remember, anything you can add music to, do it. It does nothing but further expand the impacts, the positive impacts of reminiscence therapy. So bring in the music. So what you're creating for your loved one is a stage. The stage is all about them. Put them in a position to where they can teach either you or grandchildren or children about something that they are unique about. Some tool, some trade, some past experience, a story they can tell. Put them in the position where they can teach. It does nothing but build stronger connections. It builds a sense of appreciation. So all those around you living with dementia, they all learn from you. You still have so much to bring to the world, and you have so much to bring to your family members that you want them to remember. And this sets them up perfectly that you can share those experiences with them. Don't be afraid to go out. If golf was your thing, go out and play golf with them. Teach them how to play golf. It does nothing, again, but further expand them, but also gives them an opportunity to see who you are at your core. You love golf. You used to play golf 3 times a week. Bring golf to them. Let them learn from you. It not only will build in a sense of pride for your loved one if you're helping them with dementia, or pride in yourself if you're actually in the position where you're needed to teach somebody something. So the stage is yours. Let's go out and take it. So we talked about reminiscence therapy and how it can be adapted throughout the journey. So no matter where you are, in early stage, middle stage, or later stage of your dementia journey, either as a care partner or someone living with dementia, reminiscence therapy is a key factor to helping the mental health aspects of you living in this journey. Remember, it's not rigid. It's not a specific instructions that you have to follow 1 through 10 or 1 through 12. It is free-flowing. It's creative. Don't be afraid to think outside the box and adapt it to your abilities no matter where you are in the process. Let's talk a little bit more about the specifics. All right, let's start at the beginning. So young onset, like we talked about. Young onset dementia, you're younger. You are typically under the age of 64. In this period of your life, you're vibrant. You are still active with your social circles. You may have children at home, or you may have children in college that you are very involved with and very engaged with. You may still have a job or a career that you're working at, and you've been diagnosed with young onset dementia. In this situation, and in early stage dementia, it may be more difficult for you to complete tasks the way you used to. It may be more difficult for you to continue playing that game of golf, or to continue to travel because you are afraid of the dementia diagnosis. I'm going to challenge you on that. Don't be afraid of the dementia diagnosis. Know your abilities, focus on your abilities, and be creative to get you to actually continue doing your actual activities. Don't shy away because you're afraid of not being able to do things exactly as well as you used to. Go out there, challenge yourself, share your information with your circle, your social circle. I guarantee you they're going to be there to help you, and they're going to encourage you to continue doing all the things they want to do with you. Don't shy away from that. Be creative in the ways you do it, and don't be afraid to reach out there and try different things. For instance, golf. Golf is a taxing game. 1, I never play it. There's a reason why I'm not very good at it, but 2, there's a lot to keep up with, and it's a long event that happens. So maybe you're having trouble keeping up with your strokes, and in your golf group, you're trying not to really let that be known. Be creative in your approach to recognize your abilities and work over your disabilities to find ways around them. So if you're having trouble keeping up with your strokes, get yourself a clicker. These are not designed for people with dementia. They're designed for usually people that are doing inventory or something like that. Real simple approach, just a piece of equipment, cheap, that you can find anywhere, and you just count your strokes. Doesn't have to be obvious, or it can be, either way, but it's an easy way for you to keep up your strokes, because it's the most important thing to stay connected with that passion. So don't shy away because you may have a little bit of difficulty. And be creative in your adaptations. I do want to tell you a little bit though, in the beginning, like we talked about with shying away, I was doing a presentation one time and I had a family group come up to me, and they were so involved and so passionate, and their loved one had just been diagnosed with dementia. And it's a large family, and they were very involved in trying to just innately, just instinctually, keeping their loved one doing what he used to do. He used to be a coach. He was a high school coach, and he was coaching football. And so they couldn't understand why, and their loved one was in the early stages, why he had no desire to do anything having to do with football. Nothing, no desire whatsoever. So as we talked about it a little bit more, we got to the point where they were sharing with me that they actually had him assigned as a coach for a little league team. And so he and his son-in-law were going to coach together. And he went out there for a couple times and had some trouble. He had some trouble understanding the plays. He had some trouble directing the kids. And so he essentially stopped doing it. He stopped doing anything around football because he was unsure of himself and he was uncomfortable with his diagnosis. And so he felt like it was better not to be in that situation where he had that much pressure as being a true coach. So we talked about it thoroughly and went through some different scenarios, and I followed up with them a few months later, and what they actually did was great. Instead of making him a head coach, they had him on the sidelines helping just with team spirit, and had him out there helping with the plays and helping rather than being in the primary spot. They had him helping. They also worked with the other coaches that were on the team and the parents to understand what dementia meant for him. It just meant he had a little bit of trouble keeping up with all the details of the plays. That's all it was. But then he was back out on the field, and he was helping bring joy to himself and to all those he was around because they were seeing him as a coach. Even if he was in a slightly different role, they worked to his remaining abilities and got him back out there and kept him engaged. So if you see your loved one shying away from something, talk to them about it. Ask what's happening. Ask if there's something that you can do, and observe. See what they may be struggling with, and then be creative in coming up with other ways around it. So now let's go about middle stage. So the dementia journey is continuing. In the middle stage, what you'll find is that your loved ones may need a little bit more assistance. So they may not be able to really start an activity. They may need to have more activities be home-based. And they may need a lot more help initiating a task. So in this scenario, in the middle stages, you're going to find yourself having shorter activities, being more creative around using the tools that they can still use that remind them of their passions, but you may do them in more simulated activities or games or situations where you're sitting around a table together. Do that. Also in this stage, remember that they will be much more successful if you do a demonstration. So if you're wanting them to roll out cookie dough and use your cookie cutter, have a mat set up with them. You have a mat there too, and you both go about doing it. So you're leading the exercise and you're just showing them, and they'll follow and imitate you. So break down the steps, make them shorter steps, shorter sessions, and even if they still have the ability to read, have cue cards there for them to do. Step 1, mix the flour with the sugar. Step 2, crack 3 eggs. Break it down into steps for them, but allow them to continue doing it. Find ways to continue empowering them to have the ability to do things. And don't forget don't be afraid to repeat activities. Repetition's good. It's familiar. They like that. So continue doing the activities they love. This is also the stage when photo albums are huge. So bring in photo albums, spend time together looking at old pictures, and record on the back of them or in your photo albums Who's in the picture and what were they doing? Where were they? Record anything that your loved one can remember about the time and the place and the event and why it was important to them. This will not only be important now, but it'll be important later on their journey. And create a book together. Anything that you can do to bring in their information that you can help them relive their past is exactly what you want to do. Photo journals are the best way to do that. So even in the late stage, in the very end stages where your loved one really isn't able to communicate a great deal, they still will receive the sensory inputs of their activities that they love. Smelling cookies being baked, or bread that you used to make together, hearing the song that they used to love, listening to a baseball game or a football game. This will all still give them joy. They may not be able to talk about it, so they may not remember the words around it, but they'll remember the feelings that they achieved through being involved in that kind of passion. So bring that passion back to them at this new stage where everything is around sensory. So taste, touch, sight, hear, and smell. Think of those in the later stages to bring them joy. So again, let's go over some keys to success. Don't quiz, don't ask pointed direct questions. Be more open-ended questions. Talk more about how you felt and what you liked about it and what was that cookie that we used to love. Oh, we had Christmas cookies, weren't they the best? And play the music around it. Remember, there's a time and place. Base the activity, base the event, base whatever you're doing on their responses. So if it's something that involves more concentration, pick a time of day where they're more awake, more alert. If they go to start the activity and they just seem too frustrated, stop. There's no right or wrong answer here. Just stop and base it on when they seem to want to be involved, but don't give up. Even if 3 days in a row they're like, no, I don't want to do this, no, I don't want to do this, no, I don't want to do this. Try the 4th day. Approach it in a little bit different manner. That may be what clues them in and really clicks with them. So keep trying. That's the most important part. Whenever you're doing an activity, reduce any extra clutter. Any extra clutter can be in the form of noise. Make sure it's a bright light. Take away any extra things that may be on your table that you're working on. Any extra clutter from noise or sights or feelings or anything like that, the temperature, can cause situations where it just puts too much chaotic stress on them. So eliminate clutter and stress as much as possible. Be encouraging. Everyone wants to participate when you're feeling encouraged around it, you're feeling happy, and don't forget to have a new view of success. It's not necessary that they build the most stellar Lego tower that's ever been created, but what is the most successful sign is that they're engaged, you're having a great time, and it's bringing them joy and happiness and a connection with you. And again, don't be afraid to repeat things. If it works, great, try it again. I'm sure they'll love it again. So, you're not alone in this. Whether you're living with dementia or you're caring for a loved one with dementia, surround yourself what we call the Dementia Thrive Network. So basically, this is a whole network of professionals and people out there in the world that are specifically trained to help you and your loved one thrive with dementia. So when you're going through this process and you're trying to figure out activities to do, occupational therapists are great to tap into. Speech pathologists are fabulous around helping with the communication strategies, problem solving, independence, particularly in the early stages or young onset. Your physical therapists and occupational therapists are going to be huge, as well as your speech pathologists. So tap into these folks. Tap into your local organizations such as M4A that are out there to help you specifically learn about your disease process and understand what's happening and why it's happening and how to better facilitate a life where you're thriving. So all of these different people are here to help you. Just reach out and find them or give us a call at Karen's Vibe. We're definitely here to help. So let's look at a few just examples. These are some products that we put together. You can find the next few pages that we're going to look at. You can find these products anywhere. Local stores, ordering systems like Amazon, anything like that. The thing is, when you find their connection, you find their passion, pull in the products of the tools of that trade. Pull them actually in, bring them in, and set up activities using the real products. So whether it's fishing or it's football, football's a fun one to do, and same with baseball, because you can find pennants, you can find this great football that there's all kinds of logos on, which will pull you into conversation around what their favorite team was, where were they located, did you ever go to a game? They're getting the sensory input from the football. They're also getting the visual input from the logos. Now, granted, logos may have changed, so beware of that too. If they're more familiar with older logos, Google, look and find the old logos. It'll help tremendously. You can match playing cards with logos. You can throw the football into a laundry basket. There's all kinds of things you can do, either on a grand scale or a smaller scale. The point is you're bringing them tied back to their experience. Baseball's another one. You can find baseball stuff everywhere. Again, just watch out for the logos that may have changed, but you can find mini baseballs with logos on it. You can find the little helmets. I don't know if y'all remember from the ice cream shops, the ones that you used to get ice cream in. Those are still out there you can find. Find stress balls that look like baseballs. Anything at all that you can connect them back to baseball. It's a key thing for reminiscence. Baking. Baking's a great one. No matter if you're baking something all the way from A to Z, or you're just helping cook a holiday meal or a Sunday meal, involve them in any stage that you can. Another fun activity around baking is get one of these generic white aprons. Have you and your grandchildren sit down and decorate it. Bedazzle it. Make it specific to you, and make one for each of the family members. So when it comes cooking time, everyone has their special apron on. It's a great activity to pull in everybody's help with. That's about it for Reminiscence Therapy. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call. I'm a dementia care practitioner and a speech pathologist, and I'd love to help you learn living strategies to live with dementia, but not only live, but thrive with dementia. So you can reach us at Care and Thrive Foundation, careandthrive.org, or follow us on Facebook at Care and Thrive. But please just reach out and get that Thrive network building. So remember, bottom line, when you're talking about reminiscence therapy, the key is having fun and connect back to your passions. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and thrive on. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Again, that's Miss Judi Pritchard with the Care and Thrive Foundation located in Alabaster. They cover, of course, in the virtual world, she covers a lot more than just the city of Alabaster and Shelby County. So make sure you reach out to her. It was a wonderful presentation. We hope that you learned a lot from it. We're under the understanding that there was apparently a little bit of a feedback issue with the visual there, but I can assure you that when we're recording this live now, as well as, of course, it being a live feed on our Facebook page, but we always record these videos. We go back in, we clean them up a little bit, and we post them on our YouTube channel. So we should have that probably by next Monday at the latest. You should have access to that, and it will have the original video file in it. So you should be able to view that accordingly and share it if you need to and refer back to it. So we do hope that you would share that with anybody that you think, of course, might benefit from reminiscence therapy. It seems to be a really awesome a way to really provide care in a different format. We've found success with that here at M4A, so we know that you can as well. So feel free to get creative with that. I don't know, Jennifer, do you know if there are any questions on our Facebook feed or on here at all? I don't see any on here.
No, I haven't seen any.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate it, Ms. Judi. I know she's one of the panelists that's on with us today. We're gonna jump into M4A here to kind of talk about our services a little bit, but I wanted to give Ms. Judi any kind of information extra that you want to put out there. I think you did a really good job of adding it into the video, but I did want to give you a few seconds if you wanted to speak or throw out any other information maybe you didn't cover in the video.
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you so much. No, actually, I don't have anything extra, but just my contact information's on the presentation, and I know you're sharing it as well. So if I can do anything to help through any of our foundation members, just let us know, and thrive on. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you again. All right, so for those of you that are watching this either currently live or at a later date, for those that aren't aware of M4A, we are one of 13 area agencies on aging that cover the entire 67 counties across the state of Alabama. Of course, we're located there centrally in Alabaster, but we cover 5 counties, including Blount County, Chilton County, St. Clair County, Shelby County, and Walker counties. But we do also cover Jefferson County with our senior employment program. And really our motto across the state is that we try to provide supportive services to families and caregivers to try to make sure we allow individuals to age in place in the communities of their choice. M4A's specific mission is to empower individuals, people living with disabilities, and their caregivers to self-advocate as well as live independently and safely in the communities of their choice. Our tagline, our motto is simply assisting all ages at all stages. How the process works for us, we have what's called an Aging and Disability Resource Center, also known as ADRC. It serves as a single point of entry for long-term care services and different supportive services, whether that be something that we provide in-house as well as in our communities that we cover, because we are by nature a resource center for both elderly and disabled, as well as the family caregivers that are involved in the care for those individuals. So that's really how you start for us. You contact us. You can do it online as well. We have a portal that comes through our email, which we'll go over in just a few slides, but you can also call, especially right now with COVID going on. You can call, you can come in person. You can mail us if that's more appropriate for you, but we have multiple ways to try and reach the need of our community members. So if you're looking to call into our agency, especially for those living in a different region outside of one of our service areas, you can call the number there listed on your screen, 1-800-AGE-LINE, and that will connect you to the local area agency on aging that covers your area. Some of our key programs that we provide in-house as well as across the state of Alabama, we have elderly nutrition programs, both within the senior center, homebound meals, different programs that we have do frozen delivery, meal deliveries. So we do have multiple ways of helping with nutrition. We also have caregiver support programs, like I mentioned with our Alabama Cares program, which provides support to caregivers across the 5-county region that we cover. And then we have a PANDA program, which is, again, a co-sponsor of this initiative, the Coffee Break initiative that we have here. They provide supportive services to individuals who are caring for a loved one with dementia or have a high likelihood of having a dementia-related diagnosis, as well as those with confirmed diagnoses and those within our IDD population who are at risk of developing dementia-related diagnosis as well. And that is specifically in the Shelby County region. We've been blessed to get a grant opportunity to provide that service. So those are our two caregiver support programs that are really by nature caregiver supportive services. We also have a medication assistance program through our Senior RX program. So if you have someone who has, maybe they've lost medical coverage and their medication is not being covered, or they have a drug that's not being covered with the plan that they're on, Senior RX might be able to help based on their age and other criteria to help provide low-cost, no-cost drugs. They work directly with manufacturers, so that might be an option for you as well. We also have an insurance counseling extraordinaire. She's really the know-all. If you missed our last coffee break, we just posted that this week on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Ms. LaToya Shelton is the individual who is the expert when it comes to Medicare for our office. She can compare your plans and look to see what fits your situation the best, as well as try to, she can also help with dual enrollment, which is assistance through a Medicare savings plan to help cover things like, the Part B premiums or maybe drug coverage, depending on what the situation is and which financial guidelines that you fall within. So why she's really important to get to know is because, as most people are aware, with Medicare, we have what's called open enrollment, which starts in just a week or two and goes through December the 7th, which is the prime opportunity for those who are on Medicare to make any adjustments to their plans. So now is a good time to go ahead and reach out to her, try to get a one-on-one counseling session set up to have her assist with the open enrollment period. We also have legal assistance. We work with an elder law attorney out of Opelika that covers our region to provide services, especially for those who are 60 and older, to provide free elder law and really planning for the future, things like advanced directives, powers of attorney, etc. She can help with some of those things. And if it's something she can't do, she can certainly make recommendations to attorneys that can. So a great service there, especially if you fall within the guidelines for those services to be free. We also do elder abuse prevention, especially more so than ever right now. We are by nature advocates for preventing elder abuse, but we're also advocates and mandatory reporters. So we have an initiative right now going on called Take a Stand, where we really have online Zoom sessions similar to this, to where we're really promoting and trying to prevent elder abuse and bring awareness to elder abuse to try to try to combat that as much as possible for our community members and the individuals who are caring for them. And really our largest program is our Medicaid waiver program. You see there at the bottom, that is a long-term care program, whereas most of our programs in-house are temporary services. Our Medicaid waiver program provides services, to put it simply, it provides longer-term services within the community to help, maybe try to prevent an individual who might be on the threshold of going long-term care, like a nursing home facility, assisted living facility. It brings those services into the home to really try to help prevent that long-term care entry. If by chance someone has already gone to a long-term care facility, or that is a plan that is on the horizon, then of course we have a long-term care ombudsman here in-house that can be kind of the middleman between the facility and the resident to really answer any questions about long-term care as it relates to a facility. Again, we do have a portal set up now where you can do a referral, whether that be on yourself or a loved one or a client. You can go to www.m4a.org/referral and either click make a referral or get help. So if you're doing it on your own, of course, you would click get help. If you're making a referral on behalf of someone else, you just click either one of those, and it takes you to a screen to fill out as much information as possible that you need to really help get the ball rolling for us, for one of our ADRC staff members to call you back and to do the screening to get you the services that you need to make the referral to the appropriate programs. And really, whenever they do that screening, it's not only for services within our office, it's also for other community services, whether it be food pantries, VA services, etc. So they can really help you out with getting the services that can drastically improve the quality of life for the family. Of course, we try to be as social as possible. We're really active on our Facebook pages. We have one for both our Alabama Cares program, our Panda Project, our main M4A page, as well as our Living Well Alabama initiative. So feel free to follow us, share us, like us on all of the major social media accounts, both or all that you see there, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Of course, we post all of these videos after we record them on our YouTube channel. Again, if you have any questions and you happen to have missed this episode of Coffee Break, you can always post those on our social media feeds, and we can get back in contact with you the best that we can. If you go to our website at www.m4a.org, again, you can join our newsletter, and you'll be prompted as soon as you visit that page. That's also a really great way to keep up with what's going on with our agency, as well as other community events. We do have our next coffee break planned. It's October the 21st. Same place. We're going to be doing it same time, 1 to 2 p.m. We should have that up probably by middle of next week, the event on Facebook, and we'll have it, of course, in our newsletters. So if you want to go ahead and click and get RSVP'd for that event, we are going to be talking about a new initiative we have going on, a partnership with an organization called True Alta, which has been effective for caregivers to utilize to help provide the care. It's full of educational. I'm gonna pass it on to my sidekick here, Miss Crystal Whitehead, who's our caregiver interventionist, and she's going to briefly describe what True Alta does for the consumer.
Okay, so True Alta is an online platform that allows you to access 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, both audio and video curriculum for how to deal with challenging behaviors and understanding the process of dementia and how to care for your loved ones as they age, as well as some recent additions to grandparent caregivers of grandchildren. So really great tool, and hope you guys get to see a demo from them next week.
Yeah, it's a really great wealth of knowledge, and it's constantly being updated. So really, I think you can tailor it to your care. So really would be a great option for you to really dive a little bit deeper of a dive in some of the things that maybe even we can provide through some of our in-house programs. Here's our contact information. Of course, we're located at Alabaster at 209 Cloverdale Circle and the end of the cul-de-sac, just across from the Saginaw Post Office. That is down Highway 31 between Alabaster and Calera. Of course, you can email or mail us at P.O. Drawer 618 Saginaw, Alabama. And there's our phone numbers listed, including a toll-free number and our fax number, as well as our website again. So we've really enjoyed this session of Coffee Break. We hope that you found it to be beneficial, and we hope that you will share it with your friends, relatives, clients, acquaintances, whatever the situation may be, because we know that this could probably be have a huge impact on many caregivers and their loved ones. So have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you soon.